Hi, I'm Richy.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
And we're the hosts of the Well podcast.
And in this show, we're going to talk about all things marketing related and the things that RA marketing can do for financial advisors, as well as what we're doing in our own financial advisory practices.
Yeah, like Andrew said, we are both active financial advisors. So we're in the field doing what you guys do. And so in this show, we'll share the good, the bad, and the ugly.
This episode of The Well starts now.
Okay, welcome back to the Well. Season 3, episode number 2.
Episode dose.
Yeah.
Episode dose. So.
Hey, we're looking fancy for this episode.
I know.
As
Thank
well.
you, Keith. Keith sent Richie and I each a Go Ruck quarter zip, or half zip. Maybe is what this. I don't know. It's a zip.
You could do push-ups in it.
You could do push-ups.
I'll tell you
in
that
it.
right now.
You can. Oh yeah. It's. I don't fill it up quite as well as you and Keith do.
Doing some push-ups real quick on the screen, please.
Yeah. Keith.
Have him do it the entire episode.
Yes.
Please.
You have to do 627. You have to do one push-up for every seminar campaign.
That's right.
That we got in 2024. So we're not going to tell you how many that is, but it was a lot.
It was a lot. With a kid on your back.
With a kid on your back or a 45-pound plate.
Okay, boom. Challenge.
Yep. Accepted. Accepted.
I like it.
But yeah, we got a little QR code on here. I don't know if you'll be able to scan that through the video. Probably not, but it takes you to the RA website and got a little RA patch here. So
yeah,
it's
pretty cool. Yeah, thanks, Keith. Thanks for thinking of us sending that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about, you've already had your first seminar.
Yep.
We both have a seminar coming up on Tuesday. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about some of we teased it at the end of the last episode, some of the new things that we have going on at RA that are, I think, they're going to be game changers for a lot of people in 2025. So let's start with, how did that first seminar go?
Ooh, first seminar. I guess it was like 2 weeks ago now. I'm trying to think back to when it was. I'm going through first appointments now from it, but man, it was good. It was different for sure. We've done, the thing about it is we're experienced. We've done, I don't know how many shows, like 50, 160, I don't even know. Yeah, whatever shows together. So it's nothing new to be in front of an audience to present, which I pulled from a lot because everything was new and it was different, and I don't have the breaks, I would go for 10 minutes and pass it to you for 10 minutes, and then pass it. So there's no passing happening. So that was definitely a little bit different. But outside of that, man, it was so good. I really, I don't know if it was the adrenaline, the first one of the year, the new process, I don't know. But usually after we would I did a lunch and a dinner on the same day. So when we've done those in the past, it's a full day. Yeah. And literally after lunch sometimes in the past, I would have to go home, turn the lights off, get my back heater on, like pop an ibuprofen and try and get a little nap before going back to dinner. And I didn't do that. I was just on cloud nine. I was just like, I was pumped, as motivated, as energized, went home, redid the schedule for dinner, and we went back and did the show again. So I thought it went really smooth. It was funny because lunch historically is less attended than a dinner. And this one I had a packed room for lunch, almost had to turn away somebody. That's how, it was only 16 people in like a table that you could fit. I think we had 14. So really full, or 14, I think it was 14 people. Really full lunch. And then dinner, I was expecting it full. We had everybody was confirmed. We had 8 couples confirmed, so 16 people going into it. And then only 3 couples showed up. So there was a snowstorm that was supposed to come in. So classic, it was very cold. It's been very cold in Indiana.
Super cold.
Like
I didn't think it was supposed to be this cold this morning.
I know.
And I went out there and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like Minot cold. It was like, it's cold.
Yeah.
That wind coming through. And the snow, it snowed, it dumped really well a couple weeks ago, and it hasn't left.
Right. And it snowed again yesterday. I mean, not a lot, but we got a nice little dusting yesterday.
Enough that it slowed things down. And, so it was supposed to, I think, do an inch and a half that night, and that scared people away enough. Yeah. During lunch, when I was presenting, there's a big window right in the back of where so I'm looking out, everybody else is looking toward me. It starts coming down, I see it. By the end of lunch, it was white out sideways snow, and I'm like, oh my God, here goes dinner. And then it stopped snowing, and it was good, but I think people were just worried, so they didn't show up. So
that's the risk of winter seminars. It's always a risk, and I've just been like praying that, oh man, please let the 28th not be snow. And so far, weather looks promising for this coming Tuesday.
And you just stay above. Above it. We have a new hire that we were training. She couldn't come to lunch. She came to dinner, which worked out great because there's less people. It's not as hectic. We can go through the process and train and do all that. And So there was some benefits to it, and there was good quality. I set 2 of the 3 dinner appointments. I mean,
That's good.
Yep, I set 7 of, I want to say it was 11 possible buying units. No, it was 9 buying units at lunch, and I set 7 because the 2 that showed had come to ours prior, and they were single, but they come together, and they've been to a couple. Yeah. If you remember a date.
Yeah.
That
couple?
Was that? Well, it wasn't the couple. It was the guy.
The guy, and he brought a friend. It was somebody else that has also been. Oh wow.
Yep. So
he makes the rounds.
Yep. So
I know his name.
Yep.
I know his name.
So no big deal. So I already knew going in they're probably not going to set. So we got 7 of 7 that I thought we could get. So I was like, dang, this was awesome. And then so 9 appointments in the first seminar was pretty solid. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the goal. If you can get, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 11 appointments out of a seminar, out of a double seminar like that, you can average 5 per show.
Yep.
That's really good. I mean,
really good. The only thing that would have made it better is higher attendance at the dinner because that would have been more appointments. But they're sticking so far. We've had two cancels, and they've been really communicative. It's more like, hey, I can't right now, but I want to. Yeah. So who knows? Who knows if they'll pan out? But
yeah, we had those that happened a little bit last year too. Well, quite a bit last year.
Yeah.
Some of them just never came through, and some of them do, and it's just like you just keep following up, and eventually they come through. But
it's just one of those things. Like, even if you really, really want it, I'm asking you to come into my office for a couple hours, talk to me about stuff you probably don't want to talk about that stresses you out. Mm-hmm. I'm also asking you to pull statements, and you probably don't know your logins. Like, you probably don't know even what I want.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, you don't have a SSA statement, and you don't know how to log in. You don't want to go through it. So we're asking a lot of these people to come in, and sometimes they just go, not right now.
Yeah.
You just have to wait on them.
Yeah, the urgency's not there yet, and for whatever reason, maybe they're still working, or maybe they think they're fine, or they just got their head buried in the sand. I had one lady, like, she didn't pull her statements for the longest time. She told me, every time I think about this, I have to take a Xanax. And I was just like,
it stresses
I don't want this to stress you out. Let's try to find a way to not make this stressful.
Yep.
Finally did get it done, but it was like pulling teeth.
Yeah, finances are just that thing. I mean, and they have to give us a lot. Like, your spouse and your financial advisor best. Like, or your spouse and your financial know you the best. Because you just get real intimate. It's like a therapy session when you get into these appointments. So they tell you a lot, they're sharing a lot, they're giving a lot, and sometimes that just turns them off.
Yeah.
The other thing I did different is I opened up Thursday nights. I do night appointments now on Thursdays is my late night, and both of those got taken. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
7 p.m.ers, which isn't great, but both 7 p.m.ers showed up to the appointment.
That's good.
So
I mean, I think that's something I've resisted for sure.
Yeah.
I don't like evening appointments, mostly because you and I are both the same way. We cherish that family time,
for sure.
And giving that up in the evenings is hard. That's a good idea.
I just decided Thursdays I won't go into work until later. Maybe I go there at 11, but then I'll host appointments from 11 all the way to 7. Oh. I also put Saturday appointments. I put one on the 2 Saturdays following the seminar. I think I had them at like 10 a.m. Nobody took those. So I just experiment and just try, see if somebody would take it. But yeah, so doing a late one in the Saturdays was probably the only difference as far as like appointment times that I did. I still only did like 5 or 6 days after.
Yeah.
Try to get them to book in that. So
yeah, nice. What about your confirmation process? You mentioned to me earlier that you changed some things on the pages and the way you're doing that. So I'm curious.
Yeah, RA's confirmation process has been top notch. Now, like we created it, so I think we're maybe a little biased on that way.
Right.
But at the same time, it has evolved into a beast. Like there's a lot of things we didn't create that are now in there. I'm like, that's really smart. Like our team is amazing, doing it right. So one of those, like, I'll give you an example. It's just difficult because I don't mind buying food for people that aren't going to book necessarily. I really don't. I just miss it out of my head. It doesn't bother me. But again, at the same time, like we are running a business. We are investing into this thing, and I want quality people there. So I want to, it takes everything from me to be like, don't come for the food on the landing page. Right. I want to just write that, don't come for the food. But I don't want to turn people off either because the food does lure good quality in because they say that's a great restaurant. I want to eat there. And then their quality and you win them over. So I just took some more subtle approaches to it throughout the process. But one of the pages that RA will put up after they register with their name, email, all that info, a page will come up and it says, will you consider letting us know if your plans change or something to that effect?
Yeah.
And then the only button there is a yes.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, yes. And it's just, obviously you guys understand what that means. It's just trying to get them to be honest with us and let us know if they're not going to come, because attendance is a historically a problem with digital marketing, which RA does both now. We'll talk about that soon, but in digital. So anyways, I changed that page to be a little more aggressive. I took it away from that and I said, how did I word that? Basically, this event is designed for people interested in retirement planning. Mm-hmm. Are you interested in retirement planning? Yes. So they have to click that first to get to the thank you page. Mm-hmm. And then on the thank you page is where I kind of let loose. Thank you. You are registered, but you are not confirmed. Yeah. And then I put a little thing in there. It requires a conversation for you to be able to attend. If you don't have that conversation, we won't let you through the door. So, it's light worded. It's kind of fun, but it's serious. This is a very popular event, and if we don't talk to you, you can't come. Yeah. So that's what we put in this first one. I put it in the second one too. We just haven't hosted it yet. But I would say for sure, conversations have increased as a result. People call in a lot more than I'm used to. Yeah. And say, hey, I'm confirming my reservation.
Good. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, you want these people to. I think the challenge with digital is what we've always talked about. Is there's not this tangible reminder that they've registered for this thing. So it's not even necessarily about confirming and making sure they're quality. I mean, that is kind of a goal, but really it's getting an accurate head count. Because if you're feeding people, you got to let the restaurant know. You got to do all those things. In certain venues, you're paying for the food regardless of how many people show up. Which
my first one I did. I had to, yeah.
Yeah. So you've got these minimums, and it's like, hey, at the very least, even if you're not like that, those people that showed up, you know what? I'm paying for the food anyway. Like, at least there's a body there that makes it feel a little bit more substantial. But we got to know that. Yep. You got to have that conversation, so to speak. And I think that's really good because it just helps you control your expectations and helps you manage your budget and all that stuff on the restaurant side. So, we didn't take that approach for this first campaign, but likewise, we're seeing a lot more inbound traffic. Yeah. The way we're handling it so far is primarily on the registration side. It's exactly the same as what we've always done. Would you consider letting us know? But when the registrations come in, Crystal's been working through the confirmation calls, and she'll call, and if she doesn't connect with them on the first phone call, she'll immediately text them. Yeah. And just say, hey, this is Crystal, just left you a message. You registered for this date, this time. Text back C to confirm that you're coming.
I like that too. Even just a simple C.
Just asking for that
we're not asking for a lot.
Right. Just give us a letter here. Yeah. And so far, I mean, I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I feel like she has communicated with 80% of the people that have registered. Okay. And there's been a couple cancellations, but that's okay. I'd rather know.
You actually want those.
Yeah, I want that now. Yeah. Like I want to know, hey, if you're not coming, don't take up. I don't want to. But because of the number of people that have said they're coming, like we actually had to increase our food budget at the restaurant because we were only planning on a certain number, and then we got really good results.
That means you have extra seat capacity, which is
nice. Yeah, we do. And it's like it'll work out, but it's like suddenly this went from this kind of budget for the campaign to now we're spending more on food. Right. And so I'm, we'll see. This is we ran 2 campaigns in Greenwood. Yep. I don't remember when we ran those, early in 2023 or late 2022. I don't remember, but I
think I passed the restaurant coming here. I think I did.
Might have. Yeah, it depends on which way you came.
It didn't look familiar, but I think it was the name of it. But.
Yeah. I don't know what to expect attendance wise for this next one, but I mean the projections look great and the confirmations have been going well, because we are asking them to verbally confirm, confirm with us in some format, whether it's via text message or a phone call. And the other benefit to this particular venue is it is upstairs and there's no elevator, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And so that's kind of a compelling reason for her to get it. Hey, are you okay with stairs? Because there are stairs, and so far that message has been well received. Like, hey, because of the stairs, we need to know that you're going to be able to make it. Yep. And it's been a well received message. So
I think the risk in doing it in both of these ways, now it helps because if your room seats 40 and you're planning on 25, that's nice because you have you have that 15. The rooms that I for whatever reason have settled into myself they're capped. Like
I know both those rooms.
You know both of them, and it's like 16 and you're done. Like you cannot fit another person in there. So the risk of doing it the way we're doing it is just they show up and they're not confirmed. Yeah. Which I don't like that kind of pressure, and it's just not fun for somebody to show up and try to in what they did, and they do it at lunch because it was so full. We had a couple that weren't I think 2 or 3 people that weren't confirmed that showed up, and they do the classic, like, just straight into the room. They try to just like boom, just go straight by. So I had to like line up at the door like a bodyguard style and say, you got to check in over there, make the list, and
Yep.
so it could be a little bit weird that way. But I think on our side, it's just important. You kind of know what to expect and control the room. And somebody that did confirm deserves to have their seat. They followed the process.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean.
And I think you're not even trying to be unkind to the
Right.
people that didn't confirm. It's just like, listen, these people did. And like.
And we did we'll buy you dinner type.
Yeah.
If you can't make it into the room, we'll buy you dinner. Because there's still an opportunity for an appointment.
Yeah.
Just because they don't get into the room, I'm still, But anyways, if you're going to be a more hard on your confirmations, just expect that you're going to have some situation like that.
Yeah, there's going to be a little resistance anytime
Yeah,
you
it's going
add
to feel
friction.
like a bouncer style versus.
Yep. Well, I'm excited to see how the next two go. We both got one on Tuesday, and you're at
Thursday for mine.
Oh, Thursday's for you. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, I think we both got good numbers. So we'll see how that goes and go from there. I'm super excited to talk about RA's new Premier add-on stuff. I'm using some of those things in my current campaign. And if you want to know what the RA Premier add-on is, call RA, Keith, Carly, anybody on the team really can help you understand what some of those things are. But one of the things that I'm most excited about is the enhanced insights that we're getting with that. I don't want to go into all the details, but one of the things it's kind of the standard stuff that you'd expect from enhanced insights. It's like, oh, how many investable assets do they have? What's their age range? What's their income and all this stuff? But the most interesting number to me is what they call the opportunity score. Mm-hmm. And the opportunity score is supposed to be, I believe, the probability of whether or not this individual is actually seeking a new financial advisor relationship. What I'm most interested in, and Keith has told me that I shouldn't count on this, but what I'm most interested in is to see, does that opportunity score translate to attendance and appointments being set?
Right.
Because kind of going back to what we were talking about, if we have this roster full of people and we have an opportunity score on there, and I know the opportunity score is not supposed to be indicative of whether or not they attend or schedule an appointment, but if it ends up being indicative of that,
it's great data to have.
It's super great data, because then if you have 30 people on the roster and half of them have a high opportunity score and the other half have a low opportunity score, where are you going to focus your attention? On the half that have the high opportunity score. And if there's somebody that's maybe not responding to you, or they're not confirming their registration, hey, this person's got a low opportunity score, maybe we cancel them from the event, because they're clearly not engaged with the process and they're not likely to convert anyway. So I'm interested to see. I told Keith I'm going to be extremely meticulous about tracking that opportunity score all the way through the process and seeing, like, does it actually pan out the way that
did that person attend? Did they schedule an appointment? Do they, are they willing to work with you? Do they have assets? Do they become a client?
Yeah. All that stuff. And I know it's not supposed to be indicative of whether or not they attend or schedule an appointment, but logically it makes sense. If they're looking for another financial advisor, why wouldn't they attend? Why wouldn't they schedule an appointment? And maybe it's because they don't like me. I mean, that's possible, right?
There's variables everywhere.
There's always variables, but I think if we extrapolate that over the course of 6 or 7 or 8 campaigns,
you'll see stuff.
Should be able to start spotting trends, and so I'm excited for that. And there's a lot of other features in the Premier add-on, things like voicemail drops, and automated confirmation calls, add to calendar. If you need like a organic link for your page to market to your own database, stuff like that. There's a lot of really cool features that come with that Premier add-on, and we've seen a lot of uptick in people being very interested in that.
Like, I'm excited about it, but it's cool to see other people get excited about it.
Yeah.
Because knowledge is power. I mean, it's just if you can understand who's sitting in your room before they ever get there in a better way, like it does something to your own confidence. It does something to your own presentation, and you can speak to them on what they're interested in.
Yeah.
So I think that's really smart. Kind of along those same lines, how we've always tracked, obviously, marketing. Like we'll track attendance, appointments, whatever. I went even deeper down that rabbit trail because I just love data. I just do military guy. I love data. So I broke it down into just further. So like lunch, how many registered, who attended, who booked, lunch and dinner, whatever it is, and then on the side now it's like who showed up, because we've always known based on the books cost per appointment, but we've never known based on sticks cost per appointment. So I broke it down to stick, the actual stick and what did it cost me, so that down the road, like you're saying, 5, 6, 7 months maybe for the fall, I can make it whatever adjustments if I find I feel like lunch is doing really well, but the data shows it's not. I'm not going to do lunches in the fall.
Yeah. Make smart decisions, informed decisions based on the data, and don't let your emotions dictate it, or
Right.
the your perception, or what are the anecdotal evidence doesn't always point to the reality.
Right.
So we have to stick with the numbers and do the math based on
smart.
all that. But you also can't do that with one campaign or two campaigns.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
and that's critical.
Consistent.
You got to run consistently, and we've talked about that for years. Like if you're not running consistently, the data is not going to matter because it is just anecdotal evidence at that point, and you don't have enough data to support your decision-making process.
100%. If you're running 1 a quarter, it's not enough. You can't pull data out of that.
Right. Yeah, you got to stay consistent with it. So, I'm excited to see what this first quarter brings for both of us. I know that we're both going to be busy and slaying it.
Oh yeah.
And you got to add on that Premiere add-on, man.
I know I didn't add it on this one, and it's funny because you asked me, did you put that on there? And I was like, I didn't. I don't know why I didn't. I maybe it was just out of, just what I'm used to.
Yeah.
I just didn't even think to add it, but for sure I'm going to add it because I think it's cheap for what you get.
Yeah.
And why not? Like I said, data is power. So
yeah, and these the number one feedback we've heard so far from advisors that are buying it is like, this is perfect for an individual that has just 1 or 2 staff or doesn't have any staff, because it adds kind of like the support structure with all the back end stuff, with the confirmation calls and the text and the add to calendar, all the extra stuff that you get. It makes it feel a lot bigger, and also takes a lot of the pressure off of the individual advisor. Like you don't have to do as much. Yeah, it costs a little bit extra, but it's worth it because you're not paying a staff person $4,000 a month to do all this stuff. You're just paying for the Premiere add-on, and you're getting effectively an extra staff person with all that stuff.
Yeah, that's beautiful. One thing I did differently on the seminar that just triggered that memory too, or I think it's worth talking about, is along the same lines. I handed out a questionnaire as they checked into the room, and asked them to fill that out first. And on the screen, I have fill this out. We won't, we'll get started after we collect them all. So basically, it forced people to give me information right from the start. Everybody did it, no complaints. We picked it up, had a ton of information right away on every single person that attended.
It's kind of like the front half of the blue sheet almost, or
kind of, exactly. Yeah, I'm just exactly right. Just splitting up stuff that I'm gonna need at some point,
right,
and putting it into, maybe I'm pushing them a little bit to give me more information than they might want to, but it's natural stuff that they would know off the top of their head that I'm gonna need later. So I had them fill that out, turn it in, and I don't care if they booked or didn't book. Right away, everybody in the room I have. Now what that does is follow-up emails, follow-up calls. Hey, you said this.
Yeah.
Have you gotten an answer for that? Do you know what your plan is for that?
I like
whether
that.
they booked or not. So yeah, just little things, trying to get ahead of it. But between the Premiere and that, like I would be like, what? I don't even need to meet with them. I have everything.
Right. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
No, I like that idea. I might have to steal that idea.
That was a good idea. It worked really well.
Good. Well, we might be having some technical difficulties here with our podcast recording, but we'll keep rolling around.
That's all right, because Keith's still doing the push-ups.
That's right.
He's still working hard. If this isn't,
he's what are you, 323 in over there, Keith. Anyway, I don't know that we have a whole lot else to share. I know that hopefully by the next time we record some episodes, we'll have some information. Richie kind of teased it a little bit. We're not just a digital marketing agency anymore. Yeah. We'll have some more data on some of the new initiatives that we have at RA. Keith said it really well. We're not just a digital marketing agency. We're what do you call it? We're a event marketing organization, which is true. Yeah, 100%. We're an event marketing organization.
We started one way, which was fantastic. We built a reputable business, and we're at a point where it's like, okay, why limit ourselves? We have the capacity, the reputation.
Yeah. The skill set.
Open it up.
Got the team to do it, and they're doing a killer job.
Yep.
And we're going to keep exploring.
Except for that
avenues.
one.
Yeah, except for the one.
No.
You know who you are.
Yeah. So. Why'd you look over there? Oh, you looked at the camera.
I looked at the camera.
Gotcha.
I'm making eye contact with the individual that knows who they are.
Brutal.
All right. Well, I think that's a wrap on, was it season 3, episode number 2?
Episode number 2. I'm tired. I know Keith's tired. Yeah. And it's a great episode. So the next one, I'm sure we'll do, I don't know. We'll talk about our events, because by then we would have hosted a couple more.
At least a couple more,
yeah. We'll recount those, tell you how it's going.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thanks, guys.